Calling the board, or the quarterly board meeting to order. Time now 18:33.
16.
Got it.
Okay.
6:33. For us,
Gotcha.
we don't do it all the time.
So the first item on the agenda is for the, oh, yes. So for those of you who know me, I'm Morgan with Huster. I also have Brian Edwards. He is with the Huster team. He is new to our management team, so he is working alongside me on the Wesley Oaks community.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here.
All right, so first item, ratifying the approval, the electronic approval of the January 2024 board meeting minutes.
I move that we ratify those minutes. Second. All in favor?
All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Aye.
Perfect. All right, on to committees. First up, social.
I have not received a report. I know they had the spring fling. I wasn't here in town, so I don't know how that went. I was
Yeah, so I can speak on that.
Oh,
So
good.
The Easter egg hunt went on as planned. I think the night event is the most sought after one going in the woods. Due to weather, we pushed the spring fling to, was it last
Sunday.
week? Yeah, I thought it was pretty good attendance being here for the majority of it. Had the bounce house, coffee, and ice cream. The ice cream truck broke down halfway through, but came back up towards the end. So, it was a really good event. A lot of people, saw a lot of people here in attendance, and a lot of kids just having fun. So,
Good.
I'm not sure of next.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up in the plans. And we do have someone from the
We do have landscape in here.
Oh,
Not that we have much to say, but,
Will we approve the dream?
okay,
Yes.
so we can get that going.
Yes.
All right, so the retention pond, making out has been approved?
yes.
Mayor has.
That little
Yeah, that,
stinky thing with all the snakes.
That's
The
the
one
one
time I took my dog there was a huge copperhead.
Oh, gosh.
Not much we can do
Said
about
hello,
that.
said
And
goodbye.
Karen, I'm gonna email Josh to let him know that he was approved to proceed
Oh,
with that.
correct, okay, thanks.
yeah, because that's, I mean, it's part of nature.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have, we had asked Josh to give us a quote for cleaning out the berms. And we did put that into the budget for last year, we moved some money around, so we should be able to go forward with that, because it really needs to be cleaned out. There's a lot of dead stuff in those berms.
I
Waiting for a
know.
quote, you said?
I thought he gave it, do you have a quote from him for that?
No, I've only gotten the one to clean out the drains.
Okay, so I'll remind him.
Yes, yeah, because I know we actually specifically to do that, we moved money from doing the pine needles in the fall to repurpose that, so.
Yeah, because some of them are looking pretty
When I
bad.
drove by, today, like half of the
I know.
stuff is dead.
Well, yeah, they were just planted way too
It was
close
way too
together.
close.
was that?
We're lucky that it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah,
In this
Along,
section?
yeah, along Billy Howie and on that berm that you come by.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of dead stuff, because when the builders planted it 15 years ago.
well, they wanted it to look lush and full.
Right, they planted everything too close together, so it's all crowded and dying, so needs to be thinned
There
out.
is something in the air, the biggest bushes in my front yard just died overnight.
Wow.
Oh, this is Krista?
Karen, quick question, on this sidewalk right here, I think I'm probably the only one who uses it, there's some trees that dangle a little bit lower. Do we need to give a special request for him to do those next time landscaping comes
Yeah,
out?
just give them a reminder.
Okay.
Which, I can't
I don't know who it is, it's all over here.
Like this side path, like between the parking lot entrance and the driveway,
okay.
there's just some branches that are lower, and I'm not a tall individual, but they hit me in the head if I don't duck, so.
Sounds like it needs to be.
Okay.
Okay.
but I'm not.
You're taller than us.
Yeah, I know.
So he'd be like decapitated. It like brushes my hair so much.
I'll send you a text right now.
Okay, thanks. I mean, there's just a couple of them, I figured he can probably just trim them back when they're out next.
I mean, the gardeners
That's
Josh.
That's Josh.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
No, because it's a EMS and it's like, that should be part of what he's doing.
There was something in the contract.
Yeah.
But if people don't walk on that sidewalk, nobody probably notices it, does it? And since I just walked, okay.
Thanks. That's just, yeah, that's just.
Right, cool, great.
Yeah, that's done. We don't have one.
The term has ended and we are not going to renew school committee.
And then
Decorating.
decorating.
Are you Christy by any chance? How did I know that?
We have.
Krista Campbell,
Yes.
Kelly Bray.
Yeah.
Do you have the decorations for the Glen?
For the Glen, it's just a read, but yes.
Yeah, you do. It is just how big.
It's gonna take two people to bury it.
Well, we still, we haven't heard anything from anyone from the States, so.
No, well, I think, I mean,
So when do we keep the decoration for
I
here?
mean, it would be for the entire
They're
community.
There's a,
not just-
there's a color right there.
And for the estate,
Like Krista did.
The estates?
or is it needed?
Someone has them
Has-
for the
yeah,
estates and we
somebody
need
has
to
them.
have them, I think.
Yeah, we want all the decorations to be here
I
so
was
we
gonna
can
say.
see if they need, what needs to be replaced, if it needs to be
They
replaced.
don't have to be exactly the same every year.
No, no.
No. But,
And I'm happy to get it out of my garage, so.
I know.
You want to read?
Yeah.
How old is
We'll
that
hang it on the
baby?
wall.
It's pretty old, but it's been redone
Yeah, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
And if you guys agree, I mean, if you wanna do something for Fourth of July, but there is 3 neighborhoods, it's the Estates, the Glen, and of course Wesley Oaks. And if you can try to get some more people to help you out,
The decorating committee?
Yes.
I guess.
New committee, there they
Here
are.
we are, this is our decorating
Hooray.
committee.
So have you guys in previous meetings
Oh, no, no.
officially
No.
mentioned?
No, we want to meet and
Me
talk
and you.
about procedure, we want to
Okay.
do it, what to talk about, what needs to
Awesome.
be
I didn't have
done,
anything to do with
that kind of stuff.
Sounds good.
We do have a bunch of flags
So
here.
the Glen is-
We do have a bunch of flags that can be put out for the holiday. Somebody, Sean Elliott, I think, I may not be Sean Elliott, I don't know, somebody in the Glen has at least 18 flags, and someone in the Estates has at least 18 flags.
I put my own
Sean
flags in
came
there.
and picked them up from my house, and the lady who picked them up from my house for the Estates has since moved, and I don't know who she passed those on to. But each community has the flags to be put out.
I thought he did it on his own, I didn't know he was doing it for the community.
Yeah,
Last year.
because,
Cause I put some more too myself.
yeah, well, I just gifted them.
Do we have a big flag we put up the entrance? Or just
No.
small ones?
No, we just, because we don't have flagpoles,
Yeah.
we just put
Or
those
light
small ones
up
out there. And, yeah, and we don't have the lights to shine on it all night long, so.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of putting some little flags out there and looking patriotic.
And really just leveraging, I think the one key piece here is we're leveraging what we have. There is no budget for your committee, at least not for 2024. We can certainly have conversations about that in the future if need be. But for now, just leverage what we have and just put it up, take it down.
It's normally just for Christmas, but I
Yeah.
mean, if you guys wanna make a Facebook page, whatever, however you wanna drum help,
Do you have a picture of what you do in the front here usually?
There are some pictures, so.
Yeah, just to get
it's
an
usually
idea.
Terry, so
Okay.
I'm sure he'll come out and help.
We just have like the wreaths and the.
I'm
Just to see
nominating
how
him.
you, yeah, what you
Yes, I
do.
took photos. Terry, you got your photos up here too? I don't
Terry
remember
doesn't
any
need
of them.
photos.
He's been doing it for years.
Usually it's just reads.
So is
Yeah,
there
we stopped with the
There's a
garland.
storage right behind here in the alleyway, right here by the
We
pool.
can't use the garlic
Because of-
anymore because the nails are ruining the structure and everything, so we used to be able to use them.
Yeah.
It's just reeds.
Because somebody had put nails in it, and that's what ruined everything.
What I did when the flags, when I did the strand or whatever, I had wires on each side and I just wrapped it around it in the back. You can't see it, very thin, you know,
Yeah, but
wire.
that's a small,
That's
Yeah,
small.
so I did
Yeah,
around
trying
it,
to
so
find
I
our
don't,
walls up here.
yeah. I don't know, I have to look and see.
They're pretty big.
Pretty big.
So are you guys, obviously you're interested, we just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what would be expected. I mean, again, if you want to put the flags up by the entrances, I know there are some in the other two neighborhoods, and I know that we have some here. You can do that, you know, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day,
Yeah.
if you desire. We're not saying, oh, yes, you must have those flags.
Is there a time frame and how many days before and how many days
Um,
after?
Well,
Christmas, yes.
yeah, Christmas can't go up before Thanksgiving, and it has to come down within 30 days of the holiday.
So January 25th.
Okay.
And that's handbook. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm assuming we can exchange numbers
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah. Great, and, you know, maybe we can get somebody from the estates.
And a couple more people for you guys too, because, and
Enlist our children in the work.
there you go, hey, there you go.
I mean, we're gonna smoke you.
They need service hours, we'll sign for that, there you go.
Oh, and then we have the wreaths that hang on the doors there.
Maybe you can just text me, I'll say your number.
Okay?
So we appoint Kelly,
Yeah.
Chris,
Krista. Krista Campbell.
Thank you for volunteering. We will be here to help, for sure.
Oh, good.
And I'm hoping you'll get some budget next year, so we can freshen up some of this old archaic decoration.
Contributions are always welcome.
You got it. I knew you were gonna say that.
Thank you all.
The outlets are the entrance?
Yes. All right.
And we've got a time.
Word up.
All right, management report. So these are the financials as of the close of March 2024. Operating account balance, $67,820.25. Benevolent, $125. Reserves, $32,182.76. In the ICS reserves, $20,240.61. And in the ICS operating, $102,569.32. Accounts receivable, $2,214. And then prepaid assessments, we saw $19,913.55. So we are seeing the accounts receivable for March drop significantly from February. And then we will likely see that trend again in April as we're preparing for the pool to open. So that's a great trend to be seeing. For our income statement, association assessments, $163,315. Assessments to reserves year to date, $33,885.63. That gives us a total operating income of $133,368.01. Year-to-date operating expenses, $61,582.49, for a positive net operating income of $71,785.52. In the reserves, we saw interest income on the RESCC account of $286.87, and interest income on the investment accounts of $113.08. We had year-to-date reserve expenses of $50,715, which does give us a year-to-date negative net reserve income of $16,429.42. When we look at our year-to-date operating budget overview, 3 months into the year, we are over budget by just 1%. So not a terrible place to be as we head into the summer months. Those are historically where the most of our expenses are going to hit, with the pool being open, landscaping, irrigation getting going. So 1% over budget is not a bad place for us to be at all. And I think that we can find ways, the board has been very very creative in how we utilize money that we previously budgeted from one GL to utilize for something else. For instance, the pine needles to do some of the other work. So I do believe that we're still in good shape as we head into the summer.
And that 53,000 negative to reserve, two reserves is due to all the improvements, so that will eventually, it's not gonna be, well, we're putting 67,000 towards assessments to reserves this year, it's eventually gonna just balance out, so.
Correct. The next assessment to reserves doesn't hit until the next semi-annual assessment, so that's why we're seeing that negative variance right now. Any questions from the board on the financials?
We wanted, I know we had talked about moving money from, again, it's just a GL issue, I guess, but moving from, equity to reserves. And I just wanna make sure I remember this right. We can only do that once a year, and usually it's what, like October or September, October?
Best recommendation is to do it at year end, because members' equity only updates at the very beginning of the year. So you can do it whenever you'd like, you're just not gonna see that change on the members' equity. So
Right.
it's really just gonna be taking that money from your current operating.
Yes, we don't.
So most of my communities that do utilize that function do it at the end of the year, somewhere like October, November, somewhere in there.
Okay, great. I just wanna keep that in mind.
Yes.
Thank you.
If there are no questions on the management report, then we are on to unfinished business.
Okay.
Anybody have questions?
I don't have a question.
Yeah, playground is still, they're still working on it.
Still working on it.
And the revision, and the
It's still with the
revisions with the
attorney.
attorney.
Yes.
We're just waiting.
We got a lot done, as everyone can see. We got the club, parking lot, driveway done.
It looks good, thank you.
You should see the floors in the
Yeah.
restrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Floors in the restrooms.
They look great.
2 new AC units, new ductwork, because it was moldy, so 2 UV lights added. We got a lot.
Keep that from happening again. I'm not sneezing and coughing like every meeting.
We got a lot done.
We did, at the playground, I mean, there's been a bunch of work done at the playground, we got the coping painted, we got that one part of the coping at the kiddie pool replaced. Yeah, we got a lot done so far.
You still have stuff planned for the playground, you said?
I'm sorry?
You still have things planned for the playground?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There's gonna be a little patio added
Okay.
in by the bench, but not like any new toys this year, so.
Got
That's
it.
what you're
Yeah, 'cause
asking.
those things are expensive.
With everything else we did, we're gonna do the mulch, we closed it in for safety reasons, and then we'll take the next step. There was no way we were able to do everything at one time.
Yep, makes sense. Thank you for
We're also looking to add picnic tables.
Yeah, we do gotta get a picnic table in
Put
there.
a couple of them on the backside, kind of by the wooded area.
that. That's nice, yeah?
of the playground.
Good, thank you.
We extended out a little bit.
Yep, and there's no indication of the pool not being opening on time, so that's also good.
Yep,
Don't-
everything looks good, but you
You
shouldn't
can't say that, don't,
because
should
now
have
you
said
jinxed
that
us.
until the inspection, that's jinxing it, but.
I'm not saying.
May 11th.
The weekend,
It's usually Mother's Day weekend, on Friday.
I remember last year when we spoke about, to them about it, they said they might power wash the area over there. Are you guys gonna still have that power wash?
Suggested we did not do that.
Because that
Ourselves.
creates runoff into the pool.
Okay, because there was a lot of black there, so I thought we might do it next season.
I am gonna pressure wash part of the deck.
Sorry?
By I mean I.
Oh, are you?
We're using volunteer labor.
Partly because we need to be super careful that none of it goes toward the pool.
For sure, yeah, it has to go this
because
way.
it will get
Especially the
nasty,
back
so-
area, it's a lot of black.
Yeah, I'll take a look anywhere that it's black, I'm gonna do my best to make it less black.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need help.
If you wanna come hang out, I'll be here this weekend.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna recruit the whole place.
Look at you.
Everyone's coming
Yeah.
to scrub the concrete.
Yeah,
I'll come down with a broom.
Yeah, push away from the pool, Bonnie.
I'll hold the
I know,
hose
push
for you.
away from the pool. Gotcha. Okay, and
So
We did ratify that, right?
Nope, not yet, so we just ratified the minutes, so under new business, like we already talked about with Karen with the landscape update, just need to ratify the electronic approval of the New Life Landscape quote to clean out the retention pond drain for $500.
I so move.
Second.
Third,
Fourth.
Everybody's agreed?
Perfect.
Yay, us.
So that's all that we had for you guys. Does the board have anything before we open it up to the residents in attendance?
That might have been record time. I'm proud of us.
just wait.
Yeah. I don't think so. I can't think. That's why. My brain hurts. So, open
All
forum.
right. Open forum.
I have a question. With the new air conditioning things and the ductwork, do we have a contract to have that cleaned periodically?
Yeah, we had the contract last year, the same people that did it.
But is there
But they
somebody
were
who,
clean.
they're responsible for remembering to come out, or do we have to?
I think we have to tell them.
Who's doing that?
First impressions,
No, who's reminding them?
one of us will remind them, it's usually one of us.
But those UV lights are supposed to keep
But
that
it's- yeah.
situation from ever occurring again.
Right, but
supposedly.
just to be sure, we want
Yeah.
to stay on top of that, okay.
Just an
It's
annual
usually every
inspection, I
year.
think.
I'm wondering if we have to do a fall in the spring. To
Well,
turn
he
on the
was-
heat and then turn on the AC.
Yeah, he usually comes out in the fall and spring, to remind them. But they're brand new units, so we should be.
We should be
When
good
I
for
do my
sure.
fall, I'll message.
Thank you.
There you go. But we should be
Alright.
good when they're brand new units.
So on the agenda, you had the handbook revisions. Did you guys discuss that, or are you planning to discuss that?
It's at the attorney's.
That's what we said.
We've been working on it for almost a year and a half now,
Okay.
and it is with the attorney. Once it comes back from the attorney, if there are changes that the attorney says we have to make, we'll make those changes. If the attorney says it's good to go, everybody gets a copy of it.
I see. So we don't have a list of what could be potential conflict with the DCCRs or bylaws yet. They're still,
No,
they're
So that's
still
the
reviewing.
reason that it's at the attorneys, to ensure that there are no conflicts.
Got it. So they're still
So
reviewing the
attorney
details.
is reviewing everything, so they have all the documents for the community.
Gotcha. Good. Thank you. Do you have a timeline of when they will get back to us?
It takes time.
Takes time.
Yeah, we would have liked it by like the middle of December. That didn't come back, so we're.
Yeah, the one that we got back from them, we had to do a lot of revisions on it, so we
Went through.
took a new stab.
What, 3 hours?
Yeah, when the board was here for a good period of time to go back through and try to,
Match up the CCNRs and give the actual article number next to,
Well, that's good.
so.
So, question: does this, as a community, cost us more money? I would assume it does, right?
Sure, because the attorney
Every
costs
time
us, he doesn't
someone
work
wants a
for free.
question,
It's
and we wanna go to
a
the
lot of
attorney?
money, it's an expensive process.
So, what's the value of having a rules of regulation if you're really trying to match whatever we already have as documents? And in most cases, there's conflict between the rule and regulations and those documents, which we have, CCRs and bylaws. So, what's the benefit of even having them, and not just refer to those CCRs and bylaws and just call it a day? Why? What? I mean, do we have to have a rules and regulation that costs us more overhead, conflict, and confusion?
So the purpose of rules and regulations in most communities is to clarify any gray areas in the governing documents, which is why it's turned over to the attorney, to make sure that nothing conflicts, to make sure that everything is clearly spelled out, to make sure that we're not reiterating something that's in the CCNRs just in a different way. So that's the purpose of rules and regulations. Now, are communities legally required to have them? No, but most communities do.
Just for ease of communication with people, this is more like a layman's terms of the CCRs and the bylaws. But I think you guys, I think we as a community, we should also consider if it's in overhead. I mean, maybe we should just not have them.
Well, hopefully we won't have to redo them again.
Right, right.
That ship's already left.
Right. No. You're saying that ship already
So
left.
I already paid the lawyer, so I might as well finish it. So hopefully it's worth it.
Any other questions?
Just
I'm sorry.
quick on the pressure washing. I had volunteered to do the playground. If there's any interest in accepting that offer, I don't know what would require me to do that, or because it's pretty nasty and my kids play it a lot. My kids use it a lot, so I'd be fine doing it. Yeah, I mean, I've got a pressure washer, I've got a hose. You tell me where to hook it up,
Yeah,
make it happen.
I think Jason,
yeah, Jason said he
scheduled or something.
yeah.
He said he was doing it, yeah.
Oh, he's doing the whole thing.
That's what I thought, he said he was doing it, but he doesn't say that.
But he might could use some help.
He might use some help.
Yeah.
We will share your contact and do what we need to. If anybody needs help, we'll be happy to take some help.
I'll tell you, when the mulch gets here,
Let me know.
they're definitely gonna need some
Yes,
help.
once the mulch comes, we'll put it out.
Absolutely gonna need help.
Anybody else?
Maybe put in the group, in the, Facebook, all the things that needs to be done that you might need help with.
We are gonna do that
Yeah.
once he gets
Yeah.
finished completing
But-
what he has to do first.
Yeah, like
We don't
the
wanna do it
mulch
way
and the
ahead of
pressure
time.
washing and
Yeah.
whatever things in there.
Yeah. Exactly. And, that's the way we've done it in the past.
We will be asking for people to help with the mulch.
Yeah, and the community's always been pretty responsive. I mean, they've had some great mulch days out there. Excuse me.
It's because you talked about the mold.
I know, I should. I said, listen, I'm
It
great.
just
Have you guys ever checked into putting those box bags and poop to collect the bags for the dogs?
Absolutely, yeah, they were replaced the same day that the ticket was given to the board. And matter of fact, there's 800 more bags in the, so yes, it was addressed.
They're gonna be putting those,
They're already in there.
no, in the Glen. We don't have a.
There's no poop station in the Glen.
Oh,
No.
poop
Oh,
station,
you want a
I thought you
poop
meant
station.
bags across here.
Yes.
Okay, the only
I didn't know
reason,
you had them here, so that's.
well, there was a huge controversy once they went in here, as Karen
Yeah.
can tell you, which is probably
So if you
why,
could give us
and
some
the estate's
spots where you
definitely
think that
going
Where
away.
the pond is, that whole area it's nobody's land, I mean, they can put one there at least, and I don't know
Well,
about
it's
your
common
size, what you
space.
have open there. Well, everybody usually when they walk their dogs, they walk the whole thing, so that would be a good spot for it. It's an open, it's just a common area over there. That
A
would
big
help.
capital expense, right?
Who usually picks up the poop?
No, poop stations get capital expense. Okay, so we got a budget for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to budget for that
And then
next year.
And people are obnoxious and they will pick up their dog's poop, and if the thing is full, they'll just leave it on the ground right next to the.
And
Or they'll just leave it outside your front yard.
And suggestions of where to place it.
I was mowing and I was like,
Because once it's in,
The whole bag.
we are not removing it and moving it somewhere else as we did here.
No, I mean, there's no
So we're not
home,
even-
it's open, right in front of that pond where we're gonna clean.
Yeah, but there is a house right next door to that, and,
There's a big spot between the two homes, it will be right there.
I can
No,
do
no,
this.
no,
I know what you're talking about, near
Yeah.
the tree.
Yeah, where the tree, where you had that plaque, in that area.
Yeah, but I'm not
you
putting it
wouldn't
where
wanna
we
put
think.
it
we
next to
can't
it.
put
Can't
it.
put it next to me.
Should I ask more fun
No, I'm
questions?
just gonna tell you where that area is.
I'm just a trained.
Be nice.
it's gonna sink. Oh, okay, I'm like, what?
Stop, he's.
Since we have a couple more minutes, can I ask one more question? So Morgan, maybe this is for you as an education, for me, and maybe for everybody else. If those rules and regulations have something that is not in CCR or conflict with the DCCR and the bylaws, and if we, what is the legality in terms of, are we able to enforce it, not enforce it? Is there any,
What's the purpose of
are
it
there
being
any,
sent to the attorney? Because the attorney is going to send it back and redline it and say, this conflicts with your CCNRs, you can't do this.
Gotcha.
So the new version coming back from the attorney is not going to allow that. And so that's why we are paying the attorney to
Okay.
do that.
because there's a conflict with the CCR and the bylaws, and you cannot enforce it?
Correct, so rules and regulations cannot be more restrictive than the CCNRs. Now, the bylaws govern how we do elections and how we hold meetings, so that's very separate from the rules and regulations. But again, the reason why we send the rules and regulations to the attorney and we pay that money to have them review it is to ensure that we are not being more restrictive. So again, like Amy said, the first version that went to the attorney, they stopped after 5 pages and said, we've got to talk about what you're trying to achieve here. So that's the purpose. So as I stated, the new version, once it comes back from the attorney and everything has been ironed out, is not going to conflict with CCNRs. It's not going to be more restrictive because the attorney won't allow that.
And question, does
So
it,
just to understand it correctly, the rules and regulations cannot add restrictions on homeowners that are not already in the CCNR.
The rules and regulations cannot be more restrictive than the
So, but you
CCNRs.
can adapt.
In the hierarchy of governing documents, the CCNRs trump rules and regulations. State laws trump CCNRs.
Have we suspended fines and things along that nature while these are under review?
No, because the CCNRs are not under review.
No, that's not what I asked.
So what's your-
Rules and regulations, we received feedback from a lawyer that after 5 pages, that the document is very problematic. Are we continuing to issue fines and citations based on rules and regulations, or has that been paused?
Based on the CCs and ours.
Because that's not what I've understood from homeowners I've spoken to.
There's,
Okay, well, I don't know, they haven't talked to us about it, so I don't know.
the violations that went out just a few days ago, some of them were based off of the rules and regulations.
You're saying what's cited on the
Nobody
paper
got it.
is a handbook citation as opposed to
Correct.
a CCNR citation?
Correct. Which has been the conflict for as long as I've lived here, is that rules and regulations have been overriding CCNRs. And I'm curious, now that we are spending the money to review and correct that action, have we suspended actions based on that flawed document?
No. This last set of violations that sent out included violations that were based on the rules and regulations.
so you guys gonna
But
waive?
was anybody fined?
Not that I know.
The punitive damage or the punishment is not really the question. It's, are you issuing citations based on flawed documents?
But we are
No.
allowed as a board to make some rules that may not specify in the CCNRs, as long as it's not more restrictive.
That's fine, I'm not
But
arguing
we're
against
also,
that.
we're not
There are
leveraging
some-
the document that was just sent to the attorney on the violations. The one that was sent in, was it November, October, I don't know, last year, to the attorney that got redlined that she mentioned, that they reviewed 5 pages, is not one that we're yet leveraging today for anything. That one has been thrown out. We have made updates to the 2004 and 2007 versions, I believe were the dates. Which did go to the state for approval, and were okayed. So the violations and things that are going out are not based on a document that has been redlined by an attorney.
What's version of when you guys sent the violations last week, which version of the handbook were you using, were you quoting from?
Because there's the 2017, I think, is the most recent, correct?
Yes, so
2016.
Yeah.
so you guys were quoting, some of them were quoting rules and regulations. Which year was that based off of?
I don't know, we'd have to,
I'm,
I mean, I'd have to go back.
you were looking at Allison, so I didn't know if that question was directed
No,
at me or at the
I'm
board
asking
or.
what you-
So, here's the thing, she could be using to say the 2017, but the wording in the section may be different, but we are using it from the 2004. It just may be in a different section, but it's the same wording. And don't forget, we are allowed to adapt the rules.
We are, yes, I know, I understand that, read it dozens of times. So our CCRs gives us, the CCRs give the HOA the right.
Thank
to
you.
create rules
Thank you
and
for volunteering.
regulations that are consistent with the DCCRs. That's the word,
Yes.
right? That's why they can't be more restrictive. They can be
But that-
enforced, but they can't be more restrictive.
Maintenance is covered.
So currently, anything in a letter is what has been provided to us saying this has been approved, adopted, and published. Now, all of those violations come to the board for final review, and you all put in your input, and then we proceed from there. So we don't unilaterally send out the violations without them going through the board for approval.
Yeah, so we as the board are approving violations to go out there according to rules and regulations.
Well, because not all of those rules are gonna be yanked out. For instance, I'm looking at one right now, which is about, and it quotes rules and regulations, and it's about maintaining the lot, which is in the CCNRs.
Yes.
but
That is
on
the
this,
case.
it says rules and regulations. It's quoting the page number and all that from the latest set of rules and regulations that were mailed to, back in 2016, were mailed to every resident. There was a time frame for them to suggest changes, have objections. If nothing happens, then it's approved within that time frame. And so they were approved by the residents
Well,
by default.
it's not approval. Approval requires a vote.
But that's what's in the document.
I know what's in the document. I'm not arguing.
Approval doesn't mean it's right. I mean, that's
Well, it's-
simple fact.
but-
It doesn't mean it's right.
So who approved that original document, and was it reviewed by lawyers? And Koister, are
I
you
don't
guys?
know, I wasn't
and-
on the board then.
Koister, are you allowed? Are you all?
Koister does not
Excuse me.
approve.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Are you allowed to use a rules and regulations book that you know conflicts with CCNRs, legally binding? You might get sued by somebody crazy that says you guys are enforcing something you should be enforcing. How are you protecting yourself as Koister?
So Houston Management Group is hired by the association
That's
to
right.
work at the direction of the board.
Mhm.
We have no voting power. We can simply provide professional recommendations and best practice.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it is your elected board of directors who makes the decisions for your community.
So- yes.
And we have to act upon those decisions.
So what's your
There's no
recommendation?
liability.
So
It's,
what's your recommendation then? What's your recommendation for using a rules and regulation that is not vetted, approved by lawyers, written I don't know when, no one is saying anything?
2016.
Yeah, but what's their recommendation about using that as a driver of the citations?
So our recommendation, the board has already taken, our recommendation is that they review the rules and regulations, make the updates, and provide it to the attorney. I can't speak to any previous documents of the rules and regulations. I was not working as the community manager.
Well, that was my
for the community
question,
at
is
this
like,
time.
while we are in this limbo phase of trying to sort things out, why are we referencing a document that we have admitted that is flawed?
But it's not.
It is, it
No.
absolutely is.
She just
It has-
said.
It might be, but
She
this
just
is
said it
one
is.
that-
Amy.
But this is not the one that we mentioned was redline. So here's the thing.
I
Let me
understand
go
that.
back.
No. We
What's
did
the
not, we
difference?
did not decide that our rules and regulations is
What's the difference?
flaw, or it needs to be reviewed by a lawyer out of just, we're gonna do it.
Well, we
There's
made
been
it- we
discussions
made
that,
changes to it.
So the original discussion on sending updated rules and regulations to the attorney was because the board had wanted to make some updates and changes to the rules and regulations. So that's what the original driving force of this was.
there are numerous instances in the rules and regulations that are clearly more restrictive than what are in the CCRs.
like window ACs. The CCRs don't
Windows
manage window
ACs have
ACs.
been back in 2004.
In the
in
rules and
handbook.
regulations, not the
The
DCCRs.
CCNRs are not gonna list every
So
thing,
that's the idea, the rules and regulations are supposed to
but they
be
do
more
talk about you're
restrictive.
not allowed to cover your windows.
What's Koister's recommendation since we have an argument? You're here to help us. How can you help us here?
You're adding a restriction via rules and regulations.
How
That's
can
the
you help us,
entire
Oyster?
The
purpose.
2004 handbook was made by the builder.
I'm not talking about
State of the
handbook.
state. That's what
But
we're
that's
talking
what we're
about.
I'm talking about the DCCNR, the legal document that everything is based
Okay,
on.
we're talking about the AC unit that he just said.
Exactly. That does not exist in the DCCR.
It
So
was
why?
in the 2004 handbook that was put it in the state by the builder. We are allowed to make rules as the board. It
You're
says in-
contradicting what Morgan is saying.
You're leaving out a portion. We're allowed to make rules and regulations that are consistent with the DCCR.
Our
You're
DCCNRs,
not allowed to
important
cover your
that-
windows.
our DCCNRs
You're not allowed
have
to make
specific
whatever
wording
rules
that
we
says when we are allowed to make rules and regulations that contradict the DCCNRs. It says specifically in numerous sections of the DCCNRs,
So what are you
unless other,
suggesting we do? I mean, just
revert
get
to the
buy-in.
DCCNRs until we have sorted out
Okay, then we
everything
can go
else.
to the unsightly, we can go say it's unsightly, if we're using the AC unit as an example.
I mean, if you want to be that way, that's fine, but let's just like establish what we're doing.
We're not allowing
Can I
AC
ask a
units.
question related but unrelated? So we send violations out. You act on the violation, you fix what is quote unquote in violation, whether you agree or disagree, or you come talk to us about it, and we have a discussion. I guess my concern is, I don't understand why the board is viewed as such terrible people. We are humans. We are not here to charge thousands of dollars to people because they have weeds growing in their yard. hey, can you by chance mow your yard? That's all it is.
That's not what I'm
I've
talking
gotten them,
about. That's fine. No
and
one's
I've
arguing
taken
about
care
that.
of it.
So what are you talking about? Just lay it out there.
All I'm asking is, are we suspending issuing citations based on a document that we have agreed and are paying lawyers to review?
So for
We should be reverting back to the baseline documents in the time being. That's all I'm asking. The answer is clearly no, and that's fine. If that's the answer, that's fine.
We should use the
I want
CCRs.
to know.
So we need to
Use the
quote
CCRs.
CCRs on violations.
Yes, because this is the valid document.
Based on your governing document.
Yes,
You
why
should,
not?
that's where
Why not?
citations should come from anyway, because the rules and regulations is not the governing document.
It is redlined. It is in process of being
Okay,
reviewed.
let's-
I am speaking from experience living in other neighborhoods. That's how it was done. Coming
Let's take
here,
mailboxes. Okay, that is in that handbook, the 2016, it's in the handbook. We will not issue a citation for a mailbox.
do you really want to go down that path?
Wait,
Do you know why
will
I'm
you
here
let
right
me
now?
finish
Why
what
I've
I
been
was
involved in
saying?
here since the day
I
one?
know,
Because
I
you guys spent
emailed
3
you.
months fighting me over a mailbox.
And I emailed you on
Instead
that.
of coming
And we
talking to
have
us.
taken that out. You,
Post
Yes.
it all over Facebook.
Let's keep it subjective, guys. Rules and regulations versus DCCRs. We love the board. You guys not are the bad guys.
Finish, please, Joseph.
No one said you're the bad guys. Why are you saying that? Why are you even
Oh,
saying that?
Really? Really?
Why?
Why?
We asking
We're
a
not-
simple
I'm not-
question.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. I'm not.
Simple
gonna-
question.
I'm just
We
trying
care
to
about
say
you.
that
All we
today,
asking is,
no
it's
one
red line.
is-
Why are you using it? Don't use it.
Please let me speak.
Yeah, let's let her speak.
The document that was redlined, that was sent to the attorney in November, is not the 2016.
It's trash. It was a
It's the same
So
document.
let me
It's
ask you a
not the same
question.
document.
It's the rules and regulation.
The document.
It's the rules and regulation.
Time out, everyone, time out. Hey, we have 3 different side arguments going on. This is ridiculous, okay? Hey, it doesn't matter. A bill currently in Congress can be under construction, under review, okay, Joseph? So, just because it's under doesn't mean I can go shoot and kill someone tonight, okay? There's still laws against that. There's still rules behind the rules, okay? So, the rules and regulations of 2016, just because they're under review, they were redlined, doesn't negate the fact that there was something approved by the board in 2004. There's basis of everything underneath the CC&R. So yes, you can have revisions. Papers have revisions. Laws have revisions, okay? That's what we're getting down to. I think we just need to really stop this conversation because we're not getting anywhere. I do. We're gonna go back and forth the entire time. We're not doing anything productive.
That's fine. I agree totally.
You said you wanted a discussion, you're getting a discussion. It's
No,
not
we're
there
getting a fight, is what we're
It's-
getting.
Anything
Yes.
that can-
All I asked was the question. All I had to be said was, no, we're not suspending.
Yeah, but then it would've went into something else.
Well,
No,
okay,
it wouldn't
let's
have.
talk
I just
about
asked the question.
rule in there in the 2016 about grass.
Why?
Well, because I'm just saying, that's one of the things
Why are we
that's
just
redlined.
saying, no one's bringing up grass?
You just said, are we
I asked
violating
a
people's
simple
things that
question.
are redlined?
Let's
That's
let-
one of the
let's-
things
let's
that's
let her-
redlined.
All it took was a yes or no answer.
Let's let her go.
That's
down
your
the
choice as the board.
Let's let her go
I
down
just
the-
wanted to know what the
That
answer
we
was.
cite CCRs on violations as opposed to handbook.
Cite the governing
Yes,
document.
so my recommendation would be that the letters be changed to based on your governing documents. That would encompass any governing document of the association.
Fabulous. I second, or whatever I need to do.
I vote no. I said it before.
You want us to quote the handbook?
The CCRs.
Yeah.
That's what she
Only
just
That's
said.
what she just said.
Said our governing documents.
No. There's several governing documents, the CCRs.
No.
What? There's CC&Rs, the bylaws. Where are we going with this? Which one do you want? You wanted the handbook? Which one
No.
do you wanna?
Stop. I said the CCRs. I already said it 3 times.
That's what he wants to see.
Yes.
But that's what we're voting.
Okay, so there's a motion by Amy to change the letters, to say based on your governing documents. Does she have a second?
I second it.
Second, third.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion passes.
Okay.
So effectively, they just did what I asked them to
If
do.
there is nothing else, would the board like to
Because if you
motion to
quote
adjourn?
the DCCR,
I
They
move
can't
that
cite your
we adjourn.
AC unit.
We're trying to help. I mean, I don't know. We're not trying to fight.
Just asking a question.
Any objections?
No objections.
All right, meeting is so adjourned. Thank you all.